All right, guys. What's going on, guys? We'll give people some time to get in here. Yep. I know that a lot of you guys will watch this after the live, so appreciate you guys tagging along with us. Excuse me just a moment. Okay. What's going on, guys? What's up, Space Age? From Augusta, what's going on, DR7 Lingo? What's good? Glad to have you with me here tonight. Just had a very interesting phone call right before we got on, and we had a little bit of bad weather here, and I wanted to make sure that I got an Ethernet cable, and that way that hopefully the live would be a lot better. What's up, William? And so hopefully we could have, there'll be less choppy. But tonight I want to talk about refrigerators. What's up, engineered? Nice. We're going to be talking about refrigerators tonight. Because I think a lot of guys, that especially the guys I've been talking with, I feel like that a lot of the issue is just, intimidated by the appliances, by these refrigerators. Because they've changed, they have a little bit more sensors, but there is enough knowledge that when you begin to get your hands on them and see them, like say for instance a froze up refrigerator, your Samsung French door refrigerators, they will be froze up at the top, or sometimes they'll be froze up at the bottom, and either way, there's an issue somewhere. For one. The heater, they have a heater in them, just like, a top bottom refrigerator side by side, they have a heater in them, wrapped around the evap, top or bottom. If it has a top evaporator, it'll have the same components that the bottom will have. And so, test your heater, make sure your heater's good. Now there is difference in bimetals on these, especially the appliances and the LGs, because the fact some of them have the little temp sensors, they look like a little bullet, little temp sensors, and some of them even have a little small metal that's actually considered the bimetal, and it goes on the evap. So they look a little bit different. You still have units that will have the common round bimetal that goes on the evap, but other than that, they will have a couple more sensors. I've seen them have, they'll have the common one sensor that sets out over the side that hangs on the other side of the evap cover. And then, different ones, GE has always had that one temp sensor. That's right. GE's always had that one temp sensor that, that's what they look like on the Samsungs and the LGs, that little bullet temp sensor. So, and so it's froze up. And when you check that heater, okay, and you check that bimetal, the next thing you want to do is, a lot of the Samsungs and LGs and the Whirlpools, you could put them in a self-defrost mode. I'll do a different video on that when I come across one. And so, okay, I'm going to ask this question because I may lose connection. Yeah, go ahead, Will. Yeah, go ahead, man. Anything. Y'all go ahead and ask your questions too, because I can fumble back through it. And, we can fumble back and I can go back and ask, questions, because I know some of you guys, I know the weather's bad too. What I'm struggling with is really just getting started. Never have done repair before, so would. Okay, I'll say this. I did a live Q&A. I mean, no, not a live Q&A. I did a video the other day. It was called How to Get Experience. And so, that's, and how you can do that, which I explained it in the video, is by a couple things. let everybody know in, your friends, your family that you fix appliances. You can always get your hands on appliances. Say you want to get your hands on a dryer, and maybe, you can spend about, no more than $50. You can definitely get your hand on a tore up dryer. And well, if you're looking to get experience fast, honestly, Mr. Carroll, the best thing to do would be get with a company, because a good company should be running in between 6 to 9 calls or more a day per technician. And so, if you could go to a company and tell them, hey, I'm interested in learning appliance repair. Will you guys be willing to train me? 9 times out of 10, they will hire you, if they got the amount of work to hire you. And so, and generally about 3 months is what it'll take for you to know if this is, what you want to do. You can tell that first week, because, if they're running a certain amount of calls. So, that would be the faster route, honestly. So that's what I would do. It's not, the hard part about appliance repair is trying to find somebody, that, because, you got to have that right person all the way around, to that you can trust, that's got a good personality, they can deal with customers, they're good with paperwork, and plus, they can work on appliances. So, but yeah, but anyways, let's get back to the refrigerators, because and let me say this. Since I got you guys on here real fast, okay. Normally I have things written down, but let me say this. I got a lot of things that's in the works. I'm working on a platform where I can talk with you guys like FaceTime, okay? Like, being on a call and you need help, and, do like FaceTime. I'm working on that. It's going to take time for me to learn how we can set up for me to help you guys, because this is what I like to do. But the thing is, I need to get my newsletter. And what I mean by my newsletter is, I'll have a link that I'm working on that you guys can go and fill out and put your email in there. And I will send stuff out to you, because there's things that I wanted to send to you guys that I'm not necessarily wanting to put out for the whole world to see, but just for, my subscribers and, people that, is in this business and etc. So I should have that up tomorrow. I'm almost done with it. I wanted to try to get it done tonight and announce it, but I will have that. So I'll do a video. When you see that, make sure you go put your email in, because I'll send you some stuff, in a message on what I got going on. And so, because that's the route that I'm wanting to do, it's going to take time. I'm trying to learn it, but I can explain that to you guys in an email. But so, refrigerators, like, I'm wanting to do content on refrigerators, but, there may be some videos that I'm not going to put out on YouTube that I will send in an email or send in a different form. So, but, refrigerators, guys, like I said, don't be intimidated by them. If a refrigerator's froze up, think about it like this. If a refrigerator's froze up, you're in good condition. You want to know why? Because if you got your steamer on you, you can defrost that refrigerator, and it's going to take a week, sometimes longer, for it to freeze back up again. And as long as that fan's blowing, everything will be fine. So that gives you enough time to, if you don't have the part, you can order it and get it and come back. And so, if what you call a hot box, this is what I call a hot box as far as refrigerator goes. A hot box is a refrigerator that I pull up on regardless of if it's top and bottom, if it's side by side, French door, whatever refrigerator it is. And I walk up to it, I open up the doors, the lights are on, everything's on, but the fans are not running. The evaporator fan's not running, condenser fan's not running, nothing is running. So that's a hot box. And so what you got to figure out is, why is nothing running? A lot of times, for one, on the ones that's got control boards, it's the control board. But there's ways to test that, okay? If it's not a refrigerator that, doesn't have a control board, but it has a thermostat, a lot of times it's that's going wrong with it. The thermostat where they adjust the temperature, a lot of times they will go bad. A lot of times you can bump them and they'll turn everything on a lot of times. And so, and then like, say for instance, you pull up and it's completely dead, like no power, nothing at all. No, let me tell you, what's up, Wes Lawson? Oh, from Birmingham, Alabama's in the house. Troubleshooting Major Appliance Edition. Yeah, I hadn't read that book, but it's very handy. There's so much information out here that you can arm yourself with. If you got the confidence to go in a customer's house and you got the confidence, you know how to, get into appliance. As long as you can get into that appliance and know what you're testing and knowing what you're looking at, and there's not like a whole lot of components out here on this stuff. Like, it's not at all. The only aggravating thing about refrigerators is, when you step outside from the older style, like Whirlpools and GEs and Frigidaires, when you go up into like the Samsungs and the LGs, they could be aggravating, but because of, a control board controls this thing. Some of them have evaporators on them. Some of them are in their own housing. So, you got to make sure their fan's working. There's harnesses in there that break, and, you don't see it all the time, but those things can trick you and whoop your butt, So, I would say that, the ice makers is what's aggravating about them, but, there's always ways that you can test those ice makers. And, I got stuff that I'm going to go into that. But that's really what I want to do is I'm trying to figure out, man, there's stuff I want to share with you, but let me get this. That's really what I want to do is I'm trying to figure out, man, there's stuff I want to share with you, but let me get this email list out real fast because there's stuff I want to share with you guys that I'm working on. Now, I got a couple guys that I've been talking with. I have accepted about 4 people right now that I'm talking with. I can't really do no more right now because I'm in training myself when it comes to how I'm platforming this stuff and how I'm trying to build stuff so that we can interact with each other and different things like that. And that's kind of all I want to say because I don't want to share too much stuff, not with you guys, but just because, competition, shall I say. You want to keep your good stuff to yourself and share it with, my people. So, but like I said, refrigerators, they're not hard at all. I honestly hate dishwashers more than I do refrigerators, honestly. And what I hate about dishwashers is finding leaks on them. They're aggravating. Trying to find a leak on a dishwasher. And what I mean aggravating is, I believe there's one Whirlpool brand that I'm finna go put a spray arm on it because I couldn't take it apart. It had to come from the manufacturer. I couldn't take it apart. And so I had to get that ordered because it was clogged and I couldn't get the components out of it. And I looked it over. The door seal was messed up on it. But, after you look, those things are sneaky, the dishwashers. I hate them worse than refrigerators. And, the most common, let me get back on refrigerators because this is the subject of what I'm talking about tonight. Refrigerators operate the same regardless of what brand or what style they are, okay? You got power that's coming in, just say like on, you got a refrigerator that doesn't have any control board. It runs off thermostat. It runs off the defrost timer. Okay, you're going to have power that's coming in from your pigtail out of the wall, coming into that thing. And you're going to have power that's going to run over to that compressor. Okay. And that power, it has to go through what you call the thermostat. Okay. And so, you have different components, like you got your defrost timer, you got your thermostat. Everything has to go through that thermostat, just like everything has to go through that control board if it's got a control board. So just say, the fans are running in a refrigerator. refrigerator. Okay, you pull up to a job, fans are running in a refrigerator. This is another hot box. What I must explain hot box. You pull up and the fans are running, but you got no kind of cool. Okay, always slide the refrigerator back. And when you slide the refrigerator back, always check and make sure that you're not stretching out the water line. Always be careful. Always be careful when you're pulling out a refrigerator due to the fact of the sand could be up under. You don't want to risk scratching people's floors and different things like that. There's different mats that you can buy. I put these certain kind of mats that's actually a mat that you wipe your feet with. It's a certain kind of style. I cut it in half, I slide it under there, and pull that refrigerator out. So you're going to pull that refrigerator out. Look, and you're gonna take that panel off that's covering up the compressor. You're gonna, it's a cardboard panel and it has insulation on the back side of it. And so you're gonna take that off and you're gonna look and you're gonna see if that compressor is running or not. Well, if that compressor ain't running and you look over there next to that compressor and you see that condenser fan motor running, well, if that condenser fan motor is running, then you know that compressor should be running. And what's happening is there's a few things that can be causing that compressor not to run, and that would be the relay switch on that compressor. And there's different styles of relay switches. You got the inverter board, which is, that compressor is a whole different compressor that runs off the inverter board. You got your box relay. I call them box relays. And that has the capacitor that sets on the back, and then you got the little two-piece. You got the relay that comes in the two-piece. Am I having issues with Electrolux dry heaters? They seem to be. Not really. I haven't. The ones that are in the back like that style, I don't. The only thing that I see that goes wrong with them is, of course, the sagging, and I've had them get caught around the drum, but not really. Not in my area. I'm not. Now, there's different ways that you can buy. Those Electrolux heaters. But I say I probably don't hardly work on them. Most things I'm changing on them is the glides and the dang bearing on the back of the tub. But that's it. On the drum, that's about it, honestly. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why in certain areas certain things tear up more than others. But I haven't really had no issues with them. I honestly changed more Samsung heating elements and the little Whirlpool box heater elements. Oh, yes, sir. You're welcome, William. I got to get used to looking at this screen. I got two screens. Let's see. North Carolina, I'm a new tech that is very interested in your new upcoming information. A lot of us need these wet. That's right, man. And, and like I said, I know a lot of things. I know how to structure a lot of things, but, doing this is going to be a little bit of learning curve for me. So I'm working on it. I'm trying to find ways that I can make this happen. And that's technically what the goal is, because I got a certain amount of time that I can manage and do things, and I need to figure out what's going to work best to do that in an efficient way. But like I said, there's also timing too, and so believe me, I got an app that I'm fixing to release that way that we could have a group that maybe we can communicate in, and I want it to have certain things that could benefit us, because it won't take you guys long. If I took a group of people and was able to work with you and do different things like that, it's not going to take you long. There's so much information out here on YouTube, and you have a problem with something like on a refrigerator. there's so much information out here that you can plug that model number in, and there's 9 times out of 10 the issue that you're having has already been posted or already been shared about, and there's somebody that's helping them, pointing them in the direction. But at the same time, I know that, if you're just starting in appliance repair, having somebody that can, say, hey, do this or do that, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. And so I'm getting all that together. Man, I want to share it so much on here, but I got to remind myself not to. When people, here's the thing, and this is the truth, and I'm gonna shoot you straight. When it comes to diagnosing these appliances, I'm just gonna put it this way: you can get too detail oriented. You see what I'm saying? And in my area, I work on a lot of Samsungs and LGs. Do some of them work me over sometimes? Yes, they do. But when I see certain things, there's no need, to, and no, don't get me wrong. You do always need to test certain things. But when you begin to build a portfolio of what you're seeing when you go up on a job, okay, and you see this refrigerator doing this, you're going to know what to test. And what I'm saying is like, how do you learn how to test these things? Like, you're not going to have to go into a very deep, very deep thing. I find myself going more deeper in diagnostics on washers and dryers, the front load washers or dryers per se, than I do refrigerators. And what I mean is I test refrigerators. You got to test refrigerators, all the different components. But a lot of people are intimidated by that control board. And I'm telling you, there's no need to be intimidated by a control board at all. I mean, you pull your schematic out, look and see what it's all about, running and checking that power. If the power is broke here, look where it's broke at. I got power coming into this board, and according to what I'm looking here, there's supposed to be power coming out of this terminal right here. And I'm going to break down diagrams. Diagrams are not hard to read at all. And there's times to where I've had to pull out a diagram and study it, because one side of the board would be up here, one side of the board would be down here. So I had to figure out where all it routed to. Tech sheets are always helpful. That's right. I mean, not unless somebody has already went in there and fixed all these appliances and they took the dang tech sheet out, and even if they did take the tech sheet out, you can go and you can pull up that diagram. A lot of times on Sears Parts Direct, you could type in that model number and put diagram behind it and pull it up on your phone. There's been many times that, I had to pull out looking and testing a few things, and, I can, listen to it, see what's going on, and I know what it is. And dang, it must be. It probably is. I tried to get this Ethernet cable, and the weather's bad. It's nothing to walk out. I mean, heck, they don't know if you're going to get a part. You know what I mean? They don't know what you're doing. The phone's ringing all the time. So, you may have to go out there and write some paperwork down or whatever, So the best thing to do is just, walk out. And, and here's the thing, customers that's standing over you, watching you, if they knew what they was doing, they wouldn't have called you. So just because that customer's standing over you and watching you like that, don't be intimidated by that customer. Stay calm, cool, and collective. Don't tell them you're puzzled, because I know some guys, they're bad. They're saying like, I don't know what to do. No, don't never do that. If they say, hey, what's going on? Say, hey, we're diagnosing this appliance. We're checking all the components out. You ain't got to tell them, man, I'm stuck here. I don't know. You'll learn how to stay smooth out here in the van or in the vehicle or whatever you're in. And let's find, let's arm ourselves and let's go back in here when we go back in here. And just say if you're in a position outside of warranty, the good thing about warranty is teaching stuff. Like I said, we're just kind of a little bit behind. I could throw so much information out there. I don't want to loop you around or anything like that. But don't be intimidated by work on them. There we go.